I'm going to be doing a review on my custom Guardians of the Galaxy figures, and these are all partially custom at least, so yeah, let's get right into it. This is Star-Lord, the main character in Guardians of the Galaxy, and yeah, I painted on the boots, and he has the regular blasters he has, and then his helmet I painted on some like extra detail to make it look better. And then on his right arm, he has like all the armor that he's supposed to. And if you can see onto the left shoe and the right shoe, he has like his little boosters. And then I kept the torso and I didn't really do anything to it. I painted on like his kind of pants to the back. And that definitely turned out pretty good. I just used some black lines for his right arm, which he usually just has. And then he has like a little bit of continuation from his shoulder pad to his left arm. And then if you do take off his helmet, then it's just the regular face, and I like it, so I kept it. And if I pull up his hand, you can see it's the blaster is painted in green, kinda, onto the blaster, and the same thing with the other blaster too. I just thought that made a good like extra to it, and so yeah, that's Star-Lord. The next figure I have is Gamora, and she's actually probably the worst one I did out of this kinda area, and so yeah, I didn't spend much time on Gamora, mainly because I don't really like her character compared to the others, and yeah, there's not much to say. I painted the gauntlets onto her, left the head and hair, painted some detail onto the front of her torso and legs, and gave her a sword that I kind of chopped up because I think the Lego swords are just huge compared to actual Lego people. So, yeah. Let's get on to Drax. Okay, here's Drax, and he looks pretty good. I just left the regular face, torso, and arms because Lego did an amazing job on all of that. The printing's great, the arm printing's great, the head printing's great. It's awesome. So basically all I did for this figure is paint on some detail onto his legs by using gray paint to kind of like just add some detail, and I gave him 2 brick arms knives that I think look really good. And so if you want to get a closer look at the kind of tattoo design onto his chest, you can see right there. Yeah, that's Drax. On to Rocket. In my opinion, I think Rocket was really good from the start, but I didn't like the color he was because I always thought raccoons were like brownish too. So I mixed like brown and gray and it painted him all, and it looks pretty good. I tried to paint his hands too, but that didn't turn out so well. And so I painted like the area where that holds the tail orange to look a lot better, like it fits in. And then I painted like kind of his vest because it was gray, and that looks good. And I painted it blue because I don't know why it was green. And then I painted some stripes onto his tail, and that looks pretty good too. I painted some pink into his ears, and then his eyebrows, and just like a smile kind of on him, like a smirk. And he looks pretty good like that. And so I gave him this gun, which is actually for Alien, the movie kind of gun that the Marines use, but I thought it looks really good. And so, yeah, that's Rocket. On to Groot. Groot is by far the best figure out of this, and probably out of most of my Legos. Out of all, probably, actually. And yeah, this one took me a long time, but I got it done. And yeah, I got an idea online to use green stuff, and then like online, there's knockoffs that use the long legs and arms. There's customs that use the long legs and arms. There's other customs that use the long legs and arms. I just see so many pictures with the long legs and arms, so I was like, well, I'm going to use them. And if somebody has a problem with me copying them or anything, well, there's so many stuff online with Groots that have long legs and arm. And so, yeah, I made the head out of green stuff and the kind of chest pieces out of green stuff. Completely painted it like in a brownish green kind of color. And then after I was done with that, I painted it in a coat of green and then another coat of the first color. And it turned out looking really great. And then I decided to paint on the roots. And then I had all these roots, which took me forever. But I finally got it done and then decided it didn't look too well, so I added some moss, like green kind of coloring to him. And gave him some brown hands because I did not want to paint the hands. That's all I could find. So, yeah, and that turned out pretty well. So, here's a closer look. I painted completely everywhere. He has his back of legs painted, his leg sides painted, his front painted, yeah, and Groot just looks really good. And yeah, that's gonna end my Guardians of the Galaxy, and okay, see you next time. Hey, today I'm doing a custom review on my custom Fantastic Four, the new movie figs, and yeah, so let's get started. Sorry. This is Mr. Fantastic, or Reed Richards from the new movie, and it's based completely off his like wire suit that he has. And yeah, I think I did pretty good. I used like a dark blue for the wires. It doesn't really show up well in real life, but on camera it looks good. Yeah, and so I just painted on some gray detail onto his back and some like metal chain areas onto his legs and just a regular face with some black hair. Painted some like skin tone onto his black hands to give it like that kind of ripped up glove kind of feeling, and then yeah, and so it looks really good in my opinion, and hope you guys like it too. And so, yeah, that's my custom Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, whatever you want to call it, next figure. Next we got Susan from, Fantastic Four. Susan Storm, and she looks pretty good. I just put on some, like, reflector kind of dot panels onto her entire clothes because she really doesn't have any detail. It's more just, like, outlining of her, like, the pad areas and stuff, and so I think I did pretty good, and there wasn't much I could do to make it much better, and I just got like a hair piece that's like just one of those regular kind of hair pieces, and if I take that off it'll be like that, and that's actually the Scarlet Witch / Supergirl face, and so if I turn her around, I painted the red eyes blue kind of to show like her power. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, on to Johnny. There's Johnny Storm, and I just painted like some pads onto his armor and continued them onto his legs and onto his arms, and gave him just kind of his area where the shirt opens up, and then some pads and like the 3 little vents he has onto his front shirt and the bracelets around him, and then some vents onto the back of him. And so that's basically all I did for Johnny Storm, and I used just a regular head and painted some eyes and painted like a little bit orange into there to show kind of like fire. And yeah, it definitely looks pretty good. There's not much I can say about Johnny Storm, so let's get on to The Thing. The Thing is nothing but what his name says he is, and he is awesome. So I bought the knockoff Thing version from like the I forgot what they're called, but if you look it up, you'll probably get something like this, like a Lego thing, a knockoff one. And so I like just totally with like a knife and stuff jacked up his pants because he did have pants on. And so yeah, in the new movie he does not. It's just like rock. So I jacked that up and I painted, because it was originally all orange and blue. I painted it dark brown, kind of changing up the look. It's more like an orangish brown, but I definitely think it does the trick. It looks pretty good. And I just used the regular face from the knockoff, which actually isn't that bad. This is one of the good figures from the knockoffs. Others look very cheap, but I think this one did very good. And so, yeah, that's the thing. On to Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is the last figure I have, and he looks pretty good. I did not put a hood, only because he doesn't really have one in the movie. If you watch it, he wears in like one scene, and then the other times he just has the cape on. If it's even a cape, I just use the cape piece. It's more like a cloak, but anyway. So I used some like neon green paint and just totally just put coats and coats and coats of it to make it kind of sticks out. If you can see, it's like more puffed out, and so like it looks really good. If I wouldn't have done the coats, it would have been just kind of you couldn't really see it that well because the paint is really light, and it looks really good in my opinion. It continues on to his legs and to his arms, and I painted on some like vent holes because it was originally the suit. In the movie they kind of describe that the suit bonded to him, and so yeah, that's his face mask right there, if you can see. Yeah, I just painted like some black veins and stuff into him, but overall I think he looks pretty good. So leave a comment telling me how these were. I love to see comments because, yeah, it just makes me feel like maybe I should do more. And if you want to see something else that I might make, not saying I will, but I might. So yeah, okay, bye. Hey guys, today I'm gonna be doing a two custom video. It's only 2 figures, and this is Spider-Man, and he looks pretty good. I painted all the web. It was originally just a red figure, completely red, all red, and so yeah, it looks pretty good. I did not paint the back of the head, which is like the only thing I didn't paint, and so vibrate. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so I painted all the dark blue onto it, and then the gray spider, the silver eyes, the black webs, and this took a long time, not as long as something like my group figure, but it did take a while. So yeah, I think this Spider-Man figure is really good. It's going to be the one that I always use. If I change this Spider-Man figure, I don't think I'll be changing a lot. Maybe add some to the back of his head, like the webs. Like if they continue, I may do that. Or if I make another Spider-Man figure, I'm actually thinking about making some of the Shattered Dimension Spider-Man, like the 2099 or the Noir Spider-Man. Yeah, and so anyway, this is the regular one, and he looks pretty good, and so I definitely think he's really cool. And so, let's see, I'm going to go on to the next figure. Next figure here is Green Goblin, and he looks really, really good. And this is based on the one from Amazing Spider-Man 2. I painted on to the back, and actually I don't think it's really, yeah, so I'm just gonna let you look at it, and you can pause the video if you want, but it looks really good. And I painted onto the sides and arms, and so this is also going into my Fantastic Four video, so you're gonna see both of these in this video. And so yeah, that's all. See ya. Bye.